Tyson, a young investigator with a knack for the city's hidden secrets, stood in the shadows of a Brooklyn street corner. He was watching his friend, James, who had been acting strangely for weeks. James had become obsessed with a local legend, the vanishing taxi. Tonight, Tyson was determined to find out why. James stepped out of a diner and raised his hand. A yellow taxi, its lights a little too dim, pulled silently to the curb. Tyson's heart pounded. This was the one James had been waiting for, the one that was never supposed to be hailed. James slid into the back seat. Tyson quickly started his own car, keeping a few blocks behind. He squinted through the windshield, trying to get a look at the driver. The figure behind the wheel was completely motionless, a dark silhouette with no discernible face. Tyson's GPS beeped, showing the taxi's route. It was veering off the main roads, heading towards the city's outskirts. The taxi picked up speed, its tires humming on the asphalt. Tyson pressed down on the gas, a knot of fear tightening in his stomach. The taxi's brake lights flashed, and it came to a sudden halt. Tyson pulled his car into the shadows of a large tree. He looked around. They were at the entrance of a cemetery. A thick, unnatural fog began to roll in, swallowing the streetlights. The back door of the taxi opened, and James stepped out, his movements slow and clumsy, as if he were in a trance. The driver remained in his seat, a dark, unmoving statue. James turned and began to walk towards the cemetery gates, his feet dragging on the gravel. "James!" Tyson yelled, his voice cracking in the cold air. James didn't turn. He just kept walking. Tyson watched in horror as the taxi's engine revved, a low, guttural sound. The yellow cab began to shimmer, its form dissolving into the thick fog. The taxi was gone. It had vanished as if it had never been there. Tyson sprinted towards the cemetery gates, calling James's name. When he reached the spot where James had been standing, there was nothing. The gates were now closed, and the fog had swallowed everything. Tyson stood there for a long time, the cold seeping into his bones. He knew the legend was true. The city had its own secrets, its own dark places. He had lost his friend, but he had found the truth. And he would not rest until he found a way to bring James back. For in New York, not every yellow taxi is alive.